Thinking about moving to Boulder, Colorado? Well, here are the top 9 reasons why I think you should not move there. Let's get started. Hi there, Christy Lee here, and I am a local real estate agent in the state of Colorado, but more importantly, I am a native of Colorado. If you're new to my channel, all of my videos are catered to my most favorite places to live, to visit, whatever. So if that's something that interests you, please click that subscribe button right there. That way you are notified every time I have a new video. Now, as much as I absolutely love making these videos for you, I love hearing from you more. So please, right there is my contact information. Reach out to me anytime. I am the person who answers those phone calls, emails, whatever. So reach out if you need my help. All right, so Boulder, Colorado is a very, very well-known place throughout probably the world, and there's no doubt why people want to move there. But today I'm going to tell you on the 9 reasons why I think you should not move there. Let's start off. The very first reason, and I think it probably goes without saying, is it's extremely expensive. Right now we're in 2022. And the average house price in Boulder is about $1.2 million. That is insane. That is pretty much wiping out all of the middle and lower class. People who, are barely getting by definitely cannot live in Boulder because it's just too expensive. And even at that $1.2 million mark, you're not looking at a whole lot of a great house. I'm going to be honest, it's probably built in the 70s or 80s. Might have been renovated, maybe. It might have a garage. If it does, it's probably only a 1-car garage. It's nothing to boast about by no means, other than the fact that you are living in Boulder. And that's what you are paying for. 100%. You're paying to live in Boulder. So if you're wanting to spend that amount of money, absolutely, Boulder's the place to be. But if you want something a little bit more affordable, there are plenty of other surrounding areas of Boulder that are going to be less expensive, and you're going to still have the access and ease to get into Boulder in no time. So definitely do your research and figure out where is a better place or a more affordable place, but yet still could get into Boulder within 10-15 minutes. Now, a second reason why I think that you should probably avoid Boulder, and it's mainly if you want that small town feel, is that it's actually very, very congested. The Boulder population is about 106,000 people who live in Boulder, and it's very, very tight. It's a lot of traffic. It's very congested. So if you're wanting that small town feel, you are absolutely not going to get it in Boulder. You do have the cute little areas like Pearl Street and stuff like that, where it kind of gives you the idea of a small town feel because that's where they have their events and festivals. But when it all comes down to it, the reality of Boulder, it's large and it's a lot of people packed into one small area. A third thing that I think you should definitely be aware of, and I'm not saying it's a pro or a con, but the politics in Boulder definitely are a lot more liberal than other areas in Colorado. So that is just something that I want you to be aware of, because if you do not feel that way about your political views, I would highly suggest you stay away from Boulder. Right, so number 4 is already kind of saying it as well. It's congested, and a lot of that congestion actually is because of tourists as well as college students. So you have Boulder is definitely a highly desirable place to go to college as well as to visit. It is gorgeous. So living in Boulder with all the tourists, with all the college students, makes it very, very cramped. So that is something that if you're looking for wide open spaces and, views on end, you will have the views, that goes without saying, but the wide open spaces just are not available in Boulder. Next thing is that Boulder is very, very green. So they are very conscious of the environment. Honestly, we typically call people who live in Boulder granolas, just because they are very, very health conscious. They're green, they're all of that kind of stuff to help the environment. Therefore, if you're the type of person who drives a big truck, you know what I'm saying, like that kind of stuff, maybe is not going to be a good fit in Boulder. Boulder's going to be more of the electric cars and fuel efficient cars. And I'm not saying by no means you can't have a big truck, or anything like that in Boulder, but it is kind of frowned upon if you're going to be living in the city limits. All right, so I've already mentioned it before, but number 6 is the fact that it is a college town. Now, you could either think that's a positive or a negative, just depending on, what type of lifestyle you want to live. But it is very much a college town, and it does get extremely busy, obviously during the school year, but mainly during the sporting events. So when it comes football season or the fall time when they have the games, just know you're going to have a lot of traffic and a lot of people coming in to see their kids play football. So you're going to have a lot of traffic. A lot of the hotels are all booked up in the area because there's visitors in town. So, whether or not you want that lifestyle or not is completely up to you, but it is definitely a well thought out school or college for a lot of people, and the entire town kind of wraps itself around the whole college vibe. I personally think it's really cool, but to each their own. Now, I definitely don't think that number 7 is necessarily a con, but it's just something I want to point out. So Boulder actually has height limits on their buildings. So no building can be built over 55 feet high. So this helps to preserve the views within the city. So that's actually a pretty cool thing. So if you are somebody who wants to go in there and build a huge high rise or whatever it might be in the heart of Boulder, that's just not going to happen. They have a lot of regulations when it comes to that, because they do want to pursue or preserve their views within the city. Now, if you're somebody who is, against marijuana, smoking marijuana, or the use of marijuana, I would definitely not go to Boulder. It is absolutely legal in Colorado, but it's prevalent in Boulder. You cannot smoke marijuana in public, but you definitely could smell it just driving through the city. So if that's something that you think is going to bother you or you don't want to be around, I would probably stay away from Boulder and head to some of the other areas surrounding Boulder, but maybe not so much in the heart of it. Right, and the final thing that I want to mention about Boulder is its lack of diversity. Now, obviously, it's not across the board wide statement, but I do want to mention that it definitely does lack diversity. The common person who tends to live in Boulder tends to be white, wealthy, athletic. You just kind of have this stereotype now. Is that everybody who lives there? Of course not. But it is definitely a majority. So, I just want to throw that out there if that's something that, maybe doesn't make you feel comfortable, or maybe whatever it might be. I do want to make sure that you do know that the diversity in Boulder is it's very lacking for sure. There is a stereotype there that's kind of like a rich hippie, because people are walking around all day long, who have not showered and are hippies and this and that, but then wearing designer jeans and carrying designer bags. So it's a really weird dynamic that happens in Boulder. Now, overall, do I love Boulder? Yes, I absolutely love Boulder. I grew up just outside of Boulder. I love the vibe of Boulder, but living in Boulder may not be for some people. It's a different lifestyle. There's things that you definitely have to get used to. They are very, like I mentioned, very green, very health conscious, very environmental conscious. So if that's just not your thing, I probably wouldn't move there, and I would actually seek out other areas surrounding Boulder if you still want, to be close to the city. There's plenty of other suburbs around Boulder: Louisville, Lafayette, Superior, Arvada. All of these areas are going to be really close to Boulder that you're still going to be able to drive into Boulder in no time, not pay the price, and not necessarily have to deal with a lot of the Boulder way of living, but still could be close to it and still enjoy it. Again, this is Christy Lee, and I am here to help you in any way possible. Remember to click that subscribe button right there. That way you are notified every time I have a new video. And then to the next video, take care.